party people. So it's currently the start of February when I'm filming this. I don't know when it is that you're watching this because I don't know how long this project is going to take. And as you will have seen from the title of this video, that project is to make another children's book. So if you've seen some of my other videos, you might know that I have made a few children's books. So I have two that I wrote and illustrated, one that I illustrated and my husband wrote, and then I also have a colouring book. And these were all made between 2015 and 2017. So it's been a little while since I made one. I have a video which I will link to about making all of those books. But basically, I wanted to make the first book because at the time I was working as a teaching assistant in a primary school and I was reading all these children's books to the students, and I just looked at them and thought, I want to give that a go, I could do that. So then I made the books, I moved to working in a secondary school, and I just moved on to other things. But now, as you may know, I have a 2-year-old, so I'm back to reading all those children's books again, and I have once again been inspired to make my own one. So I actually had the idea for this book last June, and I did want to make it straight away, but I was realistic with myself and I had like other projects going on, so I thought no, I will wait until the new year. And then, as you will have seen in my January video, I wanted to keep that month kind of clear just to get set up for the year, so February it was. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I would like it to be done within the month, but I had to go and pick the shortest month, so we will see. We'll see how long it takes. I have got half term in there, my husband's a teacher, so hopefully I could get some more time during that week to really make some progress on the book. So I will be bringing you along on this process, showing you little bits along the way, and hopefully we will have a nice finished product at the end of it. So I also wanted to say I am not an illustrator. So I have a fine art degree, but my practice was making 3D miniature models. I also do painting, but they're quite realistic oil paintings. So the kind of cartoony illustrative style isn't something that comes really naturally to me. So this is going to be interesting. Also, over the last couple of years, I have steered towards shorter projects that are easier to finish, things I can just do in front of the TV, so that's where a lot of my sewing comes in. But yeah, I really want to challenge myself with this book, because once I get the idea for it, it's always going to be there until I actually do it. So now seems as good a time as any, so let's do it. Okay, when I first had the idea for this book, I was coming up with lines in my head, so I wrote them down in the Notes app on my phone. So I am going to go back and look at how far I got. Okay, so I have something from October, but so it has like a gap in it, and I'm pretty sure I did fill it all in. I have a vague memory of typing it out, so I guess I'll look at my Word files and see if it's there from about October maybe. Okay, there's nothing there. I'm really sure I did type something out. I don't want to have to do it again. Where else would it be? Maybe I put it in my email drafts. Yeah, I used to write stuff in email drafts, like when I was at work, because then I could access it at home and at work. So let's have a look there in my drafts. That's the first one there. Yeah, again, from October. Okay, great. So yeah, I've done every page, and I've even got the lines. So I will read through this, see if I want to change any of it, add to it. But yeah, I have a decent starting point now. Okay, that looks alright. I am not a writer by any means. I am mostly here for the drawings. So yeah, I'm not the biggest wordsmith, but it will do. And I've definitely read worse children's books. Okay, so what I need to do now is start planning out what each of the pages is going to look like. So I guess I'll do some little thumbnails. Okay, so I've got my grid. So I've decided the pages are going to be square, so I've just done double layouts of squares. So now I need to think about what I want each page to look like. I might use this other page to do some little sketches first, in case I want like different options. Okay, so I started trying to work on the character, and I just want to stress again, I am not an illustrator by any means. So I'm actually kind of struggling with this, like trying to get the face to look the same each time I draw it. But I liked this one, and that one kind of looks similar, so I'm working on that. The dimensions, like he's meant to be a toddler. He does have short legs, but then my son has short legs, so I think it looks okay. Like he's meant to look like a tiny child. So then I tried to use like this design in some of the pages just to start yeah, trying to get them in different positions, and again, like I quite struggle with that. I did look up some images on Google, so it'd be like boy putting on wellies, but because you're getting loads of different ages, again, like the proportions might not be quite right. So I had an idea, and I don't know if it's kind of a stupid idea, but it might work and it might make this easier for me. So what I'm going to do is make a model of this that I can then pose in the different positions and draw from that. I don't know if that's like a done thing, but we will see. So I'm going to use a model making technique that I learned quite a few years ago. So I've already cut out some pieces of card. So I'm going to work off of this guy. I still don't know if those legs just look too short. I don't know. I don't know. Right, so I'm going to blue tack that bit to the drawing. And the bottom bit. Like that. And then, where did I put it? So I got some garden wire, and I've already done this with it. So basically it fits like this. So now I need to glue these bits in place. I can probably cut this bit off. Right, and the way that I'm going to do that is I am going to use super glue, if there's any still in there, and bicarbonate of soda. So the bicarb helps to harden the super glue really quickly. And I would normally use just like the super cheap super glue that you get from like the pound shop. I just happen to have this in my drawer. So what's supposed to happen is you put the super glue on, then sprinkle on the bicarb and it hardens. But for some reason it wasn't working here. I think it's best to stick to the cheap stuff. So I moved on to plan B and just stuck the wire on with masking tape. Okay, so now I need to measure out the arms and the legs. And I'm tempted to go a little bit longer, or maybe just the shirt needs to be smaller. So for the head, I got some foil. Okay, that's definitely too much. Okay, so now I've got the like skeleton, so I can bulk it out with clay. So when I've done this sort of thing before, I've used Sculpey, but because this is just like, it's not going to be a finished piece, it's just like an aid. I don't want to use Sculpey because it's too expensive. I don't want to use my regular air dry clay because that would make it quite heavy. So I found this. I think it was left over from my husband. He's a teacher, so he had it for a school project. I've never used it before, but it was left over. It says it's super light, natural air drying, so yeah, we'll see how it works. Feels weird. so weird. It's kind of like, I don't know, it feels dry, but it's like a bit marshmallowy. It's really light. Yeah, it does feel like some kind of candy situation. Right, here we go. I'm not worried too much about the clothes, but I would like to get the boots quite done. Oh dear. Okay, sorry, my camera just cut out there, so I just finished it up. I don't actually hate this. I'm hoping it'll be useful, so I added some ears, eyes, and a nose, even though, like, most of it will be like a flat cartoon nose. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to do it properly, obviously he's still very flat there, but I'll just draw in the difference. So yeah, I actually quite enjoyed making this. 3D is definitely where I'm kind of my happiest. I think, like, in a different life, I would have worked for Aardman or something doing stop animation. My son's been watching a lot of Postman Pat at the moment, and I just love looking at all the models and thinking about how they must have made all the little things. Okay, so now time to get drawing, I guess. So I just wanted to check in about this little guy, and it is actually working. So that's him posed to take down some washing, and then that's the drawing that I'm working on, and I am finding that it helps. So that's really cool, that's nice, and I quite like this little guy. So I have him propped up on this box so that I get the like eye line that I need. Prop him up there, pose him. So I've done a couple of pages already, but these are just like the rough drawings where I'm just getting everything on there, and I'll go back and make sure I've got all the details afterwards once I've done them all, because I know, like, that hat is not right. So I've done this one. This one I really like at the moment. The figure kind of came together quite easily. I didn't have to kind of labour over it too much. This one, so this was the first one I tried, and I'm still not happy with this. Like, I don't think the face looks right and the legs look very odd. And this was the first one I was doing, and as I was doing it, I was like, is this even a good idea? Should I just give up now and do something else with the month? But I was like, no, I will keep trying. But then I did this one, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is possible. Maybe I can do this. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going. And yeah, I'll check in later. So I just want to talk about the paper. So I bought this paper online. So it's like a 50 sheet of cartridge paper. It's 140 GSM, which is what was important to me. Now it was like the cheapest one because I am cheap. And it is kind of slightly grey. I don't know if you can tell that. I'll get a regular piece of paper. So that's like regular printer paper, and then that's kind of grey. But I kind of don't mind that because I'll be painting, Sometimes it's good not to paint on bright white, so we'll see how that goes. I don't hold much hope for it when I actually get to painting. Like, it'll probably like buckle and stuff, but we'll go with it. I can, you know, do touch-ups in Photoshop. What I've done, so this is the rough size of the pages. So on each piece of paper I can just draw around that roughly rather than having to like measure it out each time. And then I'm giving myself a border in case where I draw I end up having to kind of move it a bit, and also it means when I paint I can go over the edges, which I think will just help with the picture, you know, like allowing for bleed on printing and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the paper. Right, time for an update. So I've been working on this for a week now, and I've actually made better progress than I thought I would. So part of that is because on Saturday my husband took my son out for a good chunk of the day, so I had 4 or 5 hours to myself to work on this. So that was really useful. So I have done most of the drawing now, which yeah, is definitely a better position than I thought I would be in. So I started by doing kind of rough drawings of most of the pages, and then I went back in and added more detail. So the thing I've really struggled with is getting the character to look the same in each picture, but I think I'm almost there. My little buddy here has definitely helped, so it wasn't such a stupid idea. That was useful. So I don't know if I've actually explained this, but it's a counting book. So each page has like a number of objects. So like the first page has 1 object, then there's 2 of the objects, then there's 3 objects, and so on. So each double page spread, the page on the right is like a full page image with the number of objects in it, and then the other page will have the text and then like a little image of the object. And I've done most of those as well. So I just have to, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the first page, because I thought I knew what it was, but I think I need a page to kind of introduce the story a bit more. So I do need to sit and have a think about that. But all the other pages are at least started. So I'll show you my favourite ones. So I really love how this one turned out. I wish I'd filmed drawing it, because it took quite a turn. It did start off over here and then it ended up all over here because I just couldn't figure out how I wanted the guy to pose. So this one, and then the other one is this one. I just think like all the proportions are right. I really enjoyed drawing the flower. So I think this one or this one, I might use those as the cover image. So kind of this is as far as I've got with most of the images where I haven't really done the background. But I think because the backgrounds aren't going to be really detailed, I might just leave it until I'm painting it and add it in then. Mainly because I just really want to get onto the painting bit now. Like, that's the fun bit. So yeah, that's where I'm at now after 1 week. Okay, so this is the end of week 2, I think, so I'm about halfway through. I didn't make as much progress as I was hoping for this week. I was just kind of putting things off because I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for the first page, so I guess I was kind of like procrastinating, but then I decided to at least procrastinate with some other work on the book. So I've now done all of the object illustrations, so I'll show you those in a minute. And I've started painting some of the main images because I just wanted to get the paint out and not have to wait until all the drawings were finished. So I'll figure out that first page at a later date. So I did fully complete one of the pictures and then decided I didn't really like it. So I think I'm just going to redo that whole page, which is fine because I want this to be good. I don't want to look back and then wish I'd done it a bit differently. So, you know, I've got the time, so yeah, I'll do that. I also still need to decide on like the colours for the boys' clothes. 1 minute. So I did some brief like colour ideas here, and I'm still not sure, even nothing's quite right. I feel like maybe on the t-shirt I need to put some detail, like a stripe or something, but I kind of want to make things easy for me. If I add that into each of the drawings, then I have to think about like how it works with like movement in different positions, which I kind of don't want to do. I just want to do a plain colour so it's easy for me to then paint them all. So for that reason, I don't want to start painting the figure yet. So what I have started doing is just painting elements of each of the pages, because I'm going to have to do like the backgrounds and stuff first anyway. And that seems more manageable for me, especially where I only have like little pockets of time. So I can be like, okay, I'll just paint like the garden fence in this sitting, or I'll just paint the grass. And that's making me feel like I'm actually making some good progress now. So I will now show you some of the bits that I've done. So this is the page that I finished but don't really like. I think the background needs a bit more detail. This plant is actually in a flower pot, so I think I should actually show some of that. This hand now just doesn't look right at all. I like the flower. The leaves, yeah, again, could be a bit different, and the ladybird is a bit rubbish as well. So I'm going to come back to this one. It'll be the same sort of idea, I just want to draw it better, and yeah, add a bit more in the background. So these are some of the object pictures that I've done. So I used gouache with colour pencil over the top, which I really like using because you get the like bolder colour from the gouache, but I don't have to worry about doing really little details with it, because that's going to come in with the colour pencil. I think this one's probably my favourite. This pigeon, look at that. And then we have simple things, so there's a leaf, a sock, a bubble. So this is all just paint, I didn't use any colour pencil on this. I think that looks pretty cool for a bubble. A welly boot, raspberry, watering can, ladybird. I did, with the ladybird and the raspberry, I did redraw those ones because I didn't like how they were looking. So that's the second try on those, and a flower. And I quite like that one as well. And then these are examples where I've just started slowly filling in parts of the picture with paint. So I've done all the paving stones on various ones. Then some of the grass, started with the pigeons. Then I've started doing some fences and then some more paving stones. So that's all the painting I've done so far. Another bit that I'm putting off is like here, like what to do at the back of the garden, because it doesn't need to be super detailed because it's just in the background. So whether I do sort of just like splodgy shrubbery or something, I'm not quite sure. So that's why I've been putting that off as well. Okay, time for another update. So there is 1 week left of February, and I don't think I'm going to get this all done by the end of February, but that's fine. It takes as long as it takes. But I have made some good progress this week. So I've pretty much just been doing all the painting for the pages, and I have painted pretty much every element except for the little boy's clothes, because I still cannot decide what colour I'm going to do them. So I need to really sit down and figure that out so that I can get each page fully finished. So at the moment, they all look a bit like this. So I've done all the greenery, I've done the yellow boots because I knew that they were going to be yellow. But yeah, shorts, t-shirt and hat, still can't decide. So yeah, all of those pages are done. So the next thing after that will be to do the colour pencil details on all of them. I've also redrawn that page that I spoke about last week. And I'm in the middle of painting that now. So I'm sure there might be some other little illustrations that I'll need to do as well for like little details on like the inside cover page, stuff like that. I think for the cover, I'm hoping that I can use one of the illustrations from one of the pages. This week is half term, so my husband is home. I've been able to have a bit more time to work on it. Like right now, it is the afternoon. They've gone off swimming. So I've got some time to really crack on. So I think my aim for this afternoon is to finish painting this page. So that's the one that I redrew. And then make a decision about the clothes. I did end up deciding to go for a stripy top because I just could not figure out any other combination that I liked. And I did get the problem of the stripes not quite looking right. But again, it is an illustration. It's not supposed to be super true to life. So I think it's fine. Okay, it is now the last day of February and I've made pretty good progress. Not finished yet, but that's fine. So I finished all the main pages except for that very first one. I still haven't actually sat down and figured out what I'm going to do for that. But I've done all the painting and the colour pencil on all the other images. And then I've put them on my computer, and it took a little bit of trial and error of figuring out the best way to do that. So I started off by scanning them, but I found that my scanner just like overexposed the pictures and the colours just weren't right, and even putting them into Photoshop I couldn't figure out like how to make it look true to colour. So then I tried just photographing the pictures. So I set up a camera on my stand, had my big studio lights, and that's what I've gone with. The problem I do have is because the paintings, because I was cheap, I went with cheap paper, it is a bit wrinkled. So again, they're not exactly how they should look, but it works. And then I've put them into Photoshop, and then I've made little tweaks and little edits where I need to like tidy things up, clean them up. And then I'm actually going to do the layout of the book in Canva, just because I want access to like all those fonts. So that's where I'm at now. I've already found a space where I want to put like an additional illustration, so that'll be something that I'll need to draw and paint and colour. So this next bit, it shouldn't take me too long. I've already edited most of the images on Photoshop, but the annoying thing is, like when I'm looking at them up close, obviously like I'm zooming in and just like tidying up little bits, they just don't look as good. But you know, that's because I am kind of scrutinising them. But I'm sure like once they're the size they should be and all together, it'll all come together, I'm sure. So this is where I'm editing the pictures. So I've got the file set up based on the sizes that the Amazon print on demand gives, because you have to include like a bit of space around the edge for bleed and for cut off and stuff. And what's quite handy is that this book that I made in the past is the exact same size that I'm going to do this one. So I could just use the files that I set up for that one instead of having to figure out all the extra sort of millimeters that I needed to add on. So I've just been doing little bits like where some of the colour maybe runs over just tidying that up a bit, taking off some specs that were on the page, stuff like that. I think this picture is one of my favourite ones. I just like how it turned out, I like the composition. So these are the fonts I've chosen to go with. Again, that's why I wanted to do it in Canva, because they just have so many more fonts than doing it all in Photoshop. I just think it looks maybe a bit more professional when you've got slightly different fonts. I've also, I don't know if you can tell there, so the background is actually a scan of the paper that I used to do the paintings on, because I actually quite liked that it was a bit speckly and had a bit of texture to it. I think that just looks a bit more interesting than it being on like super plain white. So I've started placing some of the illustrations, so these are like the object illustrations with the text. So this will be like the left hand side of the page, and then over here will be the main image. So that's where I'm up to now. So once I've finished editing all the big images, then I can start putting it together even more. Okay, so I have put all the text on the images in Canva, and then I got my husband to look over the words with me. So as I said before, I am not a writer. I tend to just write things in like the most straightforward, basic way. It's like I always struggled at school writing essays because I could never meet that word limit. I always relied on the like 10% under that you could go to. And like when I've had to write cover letters for job applications, I always have my sister or my husband look over it to kind of just boost it up a bit. But as I mentioned, my husband is a primary school teacher, so improving writing is his everyday. So he's really helped to kind of embellish the text, just with things like adjectives. Just didn't think about using them. I did ask if he wanted a writing credit and he said no, but any money that I make from this book will go into the joint account, so he will be compensated that way. So I just need to do some final checks, make sure there's no spelling or grammar mistakes, make sure everything's laid out properly, all the pictures are central and where I want them, and then it will be ready to upload. So I don't know if I've actually mentioned this, but I'm going to be using Amazon's self-published service. It's Amazon KDP. It used to be called CreateSpace. When I made my other books, that's what it was called then. So it means that the book goes direct onto Amazon, and you can buy it kind of print on demand, but you can also order author copies at like print costs. So those are what I'll be selling at craft fairs and stuff. So I need to check through the Amazon guidelines, make sure I've got the right file types and file size, all that sort of thing, and then I'll be ready to upload it. So this is the book all laid out in Canva. It's 26 pages, so I need to save this as a PDF. That's how they want it uploaded. And then I also have the cover over here. So you upload this as a separate file. Amazon can provide a free ISBN number, or you can buy your own, which I don't know why you would, I'm going to get the free one. And then they will place a barcode on the page as well. For making the cover, they do provide templates, which I did use. So it shows like how thick the spine is going to be, where the cut will be, where you want the bleed, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I need to save that one as a PDF as well, and then it's ready to upload. Okay, so that is all done, all uploaded. I put in all of the book information. It actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't too difficult. The only difficult thing was they make you select 3 different categories that the book falls under, and they didn't really have many that fit my book exactly. But yeah, I managed to find some that kind of were close enough. So that's all done. Now I just need to wait for them to publish it. Then I'm going to order 1 artist copy just to use as like a proof to make sure that yeah, everything looks fine in it. Then it's ready. Then I can tell everyone about it. I'll be able to publish this video. So today is March the 5th. So that wasn't too far off of my month target. So the thing that I'll be waiting for now is for that book to be published. They say it can take up to 72 hours. And then once I see that, then I will order one and wait for that to arrive. So now I'm kind of excited to get on with some other projects, because this is all I've been doing in my free time since the start of February. So I guess I will next see you when the copy of my book arrives. It's here! And it arrived a couple of days before it said it was going to, so that's a bonus. Right, I haven't opened this yet. I hope it's good. Ah. Yeah, it's printed really nicely. All the colours look as I'd hoped. So here it is up close. So the cover is shiny, and then the paper inside, it is matte, so that isn't shiny. That is one thing that's a bit annoying about the Amazon service, that they don't offer like a shiny page option, because for a kid's book it just makes it more durable. So here's that kind of speckly texture. Hopefully you can see that. I mean, I will say, like, the quality of the book is not as good as kind of regular books you get off the shelf. It does feel thin, like the cover, it is card, but it's thin. The paper's quite thin as well. But the fact that I can just buy one at a time is really good, you know. I'm not having to buy like 1,000 copies at one time. And for something that's just like a little passion project, you know, I'm not looking to make loads of money from this. It was just something that I wanted to make kind of for myself, for my son, and if other people want to buy it, that's fine. But again, yeah, I'm not expecting to sell loads and loads of copies of this. Again, with the quality, there are some pages, I don't know if you see it at the bottom, where it's cut, leaving a little white bit, and that happened, so it's there as well, and that happened on a couple of other books that I ordered. I ordered some copies of my first book when I ordered this one, and again, that had it where it wasn't completely like lined up properly. So yeah, it's just a note on the quality, just in case you were interested in doing this as well, just something to be aware of. It was only those couple of pages that happened to, but yeah, I just wanted to draw your attention to it. But all in all, it is pretty good. Yeah, like I said, the colours are as I would expect them to be, and the print quality of the images as well. You know, it's not blurry or pixelated or anything, so that's good. And then that's all you have at the end that they add in. And then, yeah, I've got the barcode on the back that they added on as well. So yeah, that's all good. Just one thing left to do now. Standing on his tiptoes, Isaac reached up to collect his watering can before eagerly filling it with water. How many watering cans are on the side? One, good boy. If he was going in the garden, he'd also need his yellow welly boots. He put them on one at a time. How many welly boots does he put on? 2. Good boy. When Isaac stepped outside, he noticed some pigeons foraging on the grass.